everyone, and happy holidays. At the time that I'm filming this video, we actually have Thanksgiving coming up next week. It is a very common thing that I see in many of my patients, and not only my patients, but my friends, my family members, and in past years in myself, where we inevitably gain weight between the months of October and January, between the back-to-back holidays of Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, or whatever you celebrate, New Year's. It's just really hard to not pack on the pounds during this time. So today I wanted to make a video on ways that you can go into the holiday season without having to worry about gaining weight, so that the rest of the year you can focus on losing weight and reaching your weight and health goals. So stick around. So this video is going to be short and sweet because I have one main point, and that is to be intentional. When you're heading into the holiday season, or any event where you historically have gained weight and gone off track, practice intentionally planning what you're going to do. Other scenarios would be like vacation is a huge one for people, where they gain weight and then it's really hard to kind of rein it in and get back on track. Holidays, vacations, celebrations like your birthday, whatever it is for you, this can apply, but the biggest takeaway point is that you need to head into that event intentionally. So what I mean by being intentional is plan ahead. You know that this holiday is going to come up. You know the most common things being served at each holiday. At Thanksgiving, we have our usual meals. At Christmas, your family, or the holiday season, your family likely has their holiday usuals, their set meal. You know what will be available and when most of the time. You know when your work holiday parties are coming up. You know when those potlucks are being scheduled. So you have this foresight to be able to plan ahead what you want to do in each scenario. Next, be very specific. Be very, very detailed in the way you describe what you will and what you won't eat. When will you eat these things? How much of each will you eat? Are you going to go by the number of cookies, or are you going to go based on a hunger scale? Like, I'm not going to get overly full for Thanksgiving. Be very specific when you are doing some of this planning. Be realistic with this. Don't go into the holiday season saying, I'm not going to have any desserts, if you know that's not on the table for you. If you know for sure there's no way you can say no to your mom's special holiday pie, don't go into it saying, I'm not going to have any pie. Go into it saying, I'm going to have one piece of pie on this day, and I'm going to enjoy the heck out of it. I'm going to stop eating when I'm full. And then finally, understand that this process is about trial. You're going to make a plan and try to stick to it. Then you're going to likely fail the first time, and that's okay. Then you reevaluate what you did, and now you know what to do next time this scenario comes up. So it's failing forward. We want to learn what works for us, our brains, our bodies, and then we want to make a plan moving forward so that next holiday season we can get even better at this practice. So that's what being intentional looks like. Let me give you some examples of what it doesn't look like, what's not being intentional. I am a huge fan of affirmations and saying sentences to yourself with the idea of creating feelings within you. So they have to feel true within you so that you feel a certain way. Being intentional is not an affirmation. It's not going into this season, this event, whatever it is for you, saying, I will lose weight, and then not making a plan of how you'll do that. So those are two separate things. If you want to use affirmations, I love them, but it is not the purpose of being intentional. Another thing that it's not is hope. Again, I love hope. I think it's a great thing, but it is not being intentional. It is not specifically planning out what you are going to do, planning ahead of time what you are going to do with the food you are going to consume over this holiday season. It is saying, man, I really hope I lose weight. I really hope that I can hold myself to one holiday cookie at the Christmas party instead of eating a full tray of them. See how there's this different, vague, hopeful idea, and then there's this very specific plan that you want to follow, you want to stick to. Also, it is not being vague. It is not going into an event saying, oh, I'm only going to have a little dessert. What in the world does a little mean? And it's very different from what my definition of a little dessert is to what your definition of a little dessert is. So that's why you need to be so specific. You need to say, I will have one holiday cocktail at the office party, and then that's it. I'm not going to have any more. I'm going to have one of so-and-so's amazing cinnamon rolls that she brings every year, and that is it. Just whenever she brings them, I will have my one cinnamon roll, and that will be it. I won't have 3 or 4 that I take home and eat throughout the week. It is also not failing ahead of time. So we talked about how likely the first several times you do this, it's going to be making a plan, trying it out, likely failing, and then making a new plan for the next event. Failing ahead of time is saying there's no way I can't not eat sugar during the Christmas season, so I'm just not even going to make a plan because I know I won't stick to it. That is failing ahead of time. That's saying I know I can't do this, so I'm just not even going to try. Versus saying, I know it's going to be hard, I'm going to set a realistic plan, goal for myself, and I'm going to see how close I can come to that goal. And it's also not all or nothing thinking. So again, you want to be very realistic about, you want to enjoy the holidays. You look forward to certain items every year. So you want to be able to plan your meals, your eating within that, allowing you to enjoy it, and also not to overindulge, not to go overboard and then end up 5-10 pounds heavier at the end of these 4 months. So it's finding that middle ground that works with your brain, with your body, and allows you to comfortably enjoy the holiday season and sets you up for success coming the new year for your weight and health goals. So what I want you to do is take that idea of being intentional and look ahead at your calendar for the remainder of the year, all of the events, all of the parties, all of the celebrations that you have for this holiday season, and go into it and create a plan of what you want to do. This plan should be very personal to you. Again, you know yourself the most, and you know what treats, what holiday eats you enjoy and that you really want to plan for, and others that are just not that good to you. So you're like, okay, I can just take that off the table, because that would look different than what my plate would look like. And that's okay. That's beautiful. That's what makes us individuals. But I also wanted to give you some ideas, some of my top suggestions, just to get the ball rolling. One great goal that I love to give a lot of my patients who are working on weight loss is to maintain their weight during the weeks of Thanksgiving and Christmas, or again, whatever holiday you celebrate, and then try to lose weight the rest of the time. So those weeks between Halloween and Thanksgiving and Christmas, and then continue to lose weight afterwards if you're actively working on losing weight. If you like where your weight's at, you just don't want to gain the holiday weight, then just make that goal of maintaining your weight. With this, keep in mind that, of course, when we're eating differently than we normally do, especially if there's like a lot of salt or a lot of liquids or some alcohol or sugar, things like that, you will have a lot of fluctuations in your water weight. So give yourself, a little bit of a grace period. So check your weight, the week following Thanksgiving, and make sure that you're at that maintenance point. And then again, go back to this idea of trial, failure, and moving forward. So if you ended up gaining a pound over Thanksgiving, reflect on what you did and try to decide, okay, what tweaks could I make for the next holiday to try to maintain the way that I had set that goal for. So this is similar to the last one, but plan when you will go off of your typical food plan ahead of time. So again, if you're following that first suggestion, which is trying to lose weight for those 3 weeks between Thanksgiving and Christmas, your goal is to stick to your usual food plan during that time. But of course, you might have a holiday party or one of your children's holiday parties or something like that. Again, be specific what you're going to do during those parties. If it's your children's holiday party and they have a bunch of sugar and a bunch of stuff that you don't really like, just plan on not going off of plan. But if you're going to have your work holiday party and they always bring in some amazing catering or have some amazing Christmas cocktail, like I'm a really big fan of eggnog. So plan ahead of time, like, yes, I'm going to indulge in that one cocktail that one evening, and then the rest of the season, no. And then finally, I've kind of been leading up to this one, but I highly encourage that you practice following your usual food plan for as much time during the holiday season as possible. And this really helps keep you focused on what your health goals are. It really helps cut down on the amount of weight gain that you have during the holiday season. And it forces you to address all of the reasons that we feel compelled to eat all of these wonderful holiday treats during the holiday season. And it allows you to really understand why your brain, why your body craves those things during that time, and then consciously choose whether you want to indulge in it or not. And so some of the things, some of the thoughts, the beliefs, the emotions that may come up during this time, a big one is desire. So we don't, typically, if you're trying to get healthy, if you're trying to lose weight, you're avoiding those really high sugary treats. You're avoiding very sugary cocktails, things like that most of the time. And so it's kind of, your brain tries to convince you oh, it's the holiday season, so we should be able to indulge. So you have this desire for this food. Again, I'm saying just plan ahead of time if you want to indulge, and also understand the reason that you want to indulge. And it's because your brain is telling you that you really desire that food. Another huge one during the holiday season is food scarcity. And what I mean by that is usually we're overindulging in food, so it's not like we're going starving, but we are presented with all of these foods that we don't have during the rest of the year. My family has their holiday treats that they make, that we make big, huge batches of and give out to, our friends, neighbors, and family. And then we also, of course, keep some for ourselves. And we make this food no other time during the year. So your brain is convinced there's no other opportunities to get some of these foods, when that's just not the case. In reality, if you really wanted to make one of these, you could have it at any point, in the middle of July or something like that. But this idea of food scarcity or treat scarcity really drives you and your brain to believe that this is the only chance that you will get to eat it. Other big reasons that we eat treats and certain foods during the holidays is this idea of using food as an expression of celebration, food as an expression of love, food as this idea of participating in a social setting with our friends and loved ones and coworkers and things like that. Again, in reality, just our presence, just interacting with one another is enough. And we're also giving, usually we give presents and gifts to each other. So that's also an expression of love and participation and celebration. And then we tack on food on top of it, and it's not exactly necessary. Again, you get to decide how you want to celebrate. What does celebrating and being with family around the holidays look like for you? And if you don't want to define it by food, you don't have to. And if you want to define it by just certain foods in the correct proportions that doesn't make you feel like crap and doesn't make you gain a bunch of weight, you get to. That is within you to decide how you want to define these events. And then finally, one that a lot of people struggle with, especially like in the dark and cold of winter and around the holidays, is sadness and depression. So are you eating out of loneliness? Are you eating out of sadness, that this idea that another year has come to close and you didn't accomplish or didn't reach the goals, or you're not living the life that you want to? And if that's the case, I would recommend you go watch my video about buffering versus managing stress and some of those emotions, because eating food and gaining weight is not helping any of those emotions, those negative feelings that you're feeling. And instead, there are better, healthier ways to manage those. And talk to someone, talk to friends, loved ones. And if it's really severe, go talk to your doctor about, do you need specific treatment? Alrighty, that's what I have for you today. I really want you to be intentional over the next 6 to 8 weeks as you are celebrating this holiday season, and really sit down and make a plan for exactly how you want to celebrate that is in alignment with your health and weight and wellness goals. And as always, if you want a really great Christmas present that you can buy for yourself or have someone buy for you, go check out my Insulin Reset ebook. This is the perfect way to kind of get your body back on track after the holiday season, really get your hormones, your weight, your mood all in alignment so that you're feeling your best for 2026. You can head on over to selfhealingdrashley.com/insulin reset to check out that ebook and purchase it if you would like to. It's got tons of great information in it. So happy holidays, and I will see you next time.